So talking politics, in the meantime, Special Advisor to President Bola Tinubu on Policy Communication, Daniel Bwala, says the African Democratic Congress, the ADC coalition, will implode within 6 months due to a dearth of ideology. Now, speaking in a televised interview, Bwala said Dati Baba Ahmed, vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 elections, sensed the looming crisis. On July 4th, Baba Ahmed said the battle for the presidential candidate could pose a major challenge for the ADC, warning that the excitement trailing the coalition should be managed and the citizens should not be consumed by it. He added that unlike the current coalition, the 2013 All Progressives Congress, the APC alliance, viewed former President Muhammadu Buhari as the anointed presidential candidate long before the primary election. Now, to further discuss this, I'm being joined by Chief Peter Obi, former National Chairman, Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, and National Secretary, Coalition of United Political Parties, CUP. Thank you so much, Chief Obi, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
An absolute pleasure. All right, Chief Obi, if I may ask, what's your take on Daniel Bwala's claim that the ADC coalition will implode within 6 months due to a lack of ideology?
Sincerely, I wouldn't have want to join issues with Daniel Bwala because over a short period of time that he got into Nigerian politics, he has been inconsistent. He has been, moving from one place to the other. I've been in this politics for a while. I've been many things in the party sector because my area of specialization is within the party administration, where I've done state chairman, state ward chairman, local government chairman, national organizing secretary, and national chairman of a political party, where I also went to be inter-party advisory council. So it's about consistency. It's about people who say one thing and mean what they say, and not people who say one thing and then mean another. So I would have really wanted to avoid taking him on a serious note because of the things he has said about the past, that those who support APC, we should be checked for mental illness, and that anybody who joined APC will become insane. So it is clear that he does not know what he's talking about, this coalition. This coalition is being put together by men of a high pedigree, people who have serious experience in the political journey and private sector driven experience, and who are committed to trying to rescue Nigeria from the recklessness that the APC government since 2015 have brought to bear on the leadership of this country, where our GDP had dropped nosedive to 180-something billion US dollars, where we have 76.5% of people in rural communities living in abject poverty. We have 41.30-something% of people in urban communities living in abject poverty. So you have an issue that even the corruption perception interest, which he should be speaking about and telling Nigerians what they are doing about corruption in Nigeria, where they are hiding file of the NDDC audit, where you have a situation where the corruption perception index is 146/180. So you have a challenge. And this challenge is not something the government is talking about. The government is busy chasing the opposition leader that are trying to make sure they do what is necessary as enshrined in the constitution of the party, political party, from section 222 to section 2210, where it simply stipulates that there shall be multi-party democratic system in Nigeria. And if these well-meaning Nigerians have put aside their political difference, their entrenched interest to be able to support only their interests, and collectively form a unit of interest that will save the Nigerian economy from continued decline and collapse. They should be commended. And I think a lot of people, even on social media and on the street, nobody takes Daniel Bwala serious, because you can see when he speaks on TV, he cannot even talk about Atiku Abubakar because he knows that he's already in a situation where he's not driving his political journey based on principles. He said, "Oh, my former principal." So these are challenges of people who have deficit in character, and it should not be used as a yardstick or to measure the survival of any political group or political party. So this political party, people are here are far richer in their sense of commitment to nation building than what Daniel Bwala. For people like us, our next meal is not our problem. It is the next generation that we're worried about. And that's why you find out everybody in the coalition is looking at how do we save this country, this mess, this monumental disaster that the APC administration have brought to bear on the leadership of our country. We cannot continue like this, and it is that reason that there's no selfish interest here. Everything is centered on the interest of the Nigerian state, the economy of our country. Right now, we're having issues of EAE suspending our people from having entry visa or tourist visa or stop-by visa. You have issues that America have already reduced the visa to 3 months, non-immigrant visa to 3 months. So we have a challenge, and this challenge is what the government should be doing. How is the government doing everything to make sure that our FDI, our foreign direct investment, is giving a boost so that people can come to Nigeria and invest? How is it that they have to solve the security challenge that we are having? Because without solving the security challenge, nobody's going to put his money where his life will not be secure, where his business will not be stable. Because even the Constitution defines the primary purpose of governance as security and welfare of the people. So where is the security? It's not there. Where is the welfare? It's not there. Policies are hastily put together. Policies are done in a rush manner, an impromptu basis that no longer has policy backing to be able to give to Nigerians the necessary benefit of good governance.
All right. I mean, the statement of Dati Baba Ahmed about the APC's coercion around Buhari's candidacy back in 2013 actually got me thinking, how crucial is having a clear frontrunner to a coalition success?
I've said it in a lot of public forums, and I've said it to friends and to people who care to listen. We are in a very, very serious period. And for us to get it right, we must do what is right. People talk about, there are no written agreement. In 2015, Buhari wasn't just chosen. Buhari was looked at with the kind of momentum he has in the north. So if the coalition thinks that they want to succeed and remove Tinubu from office, they must avoid the issue that where the South will develop Southern solidarity if the zoning arrangement that we already have is not respected. Because we must be able to do things that will give us 10-yard advantage, because the president is already in power. So we must do things that will give us 10-yard advantage, things that will come with public appeal, things that will come with public acceptance, things that will make the people see that we are committed to respecting unwritten rules and laws that govern our operation, that give opportunity to all areas of this country. Because for Buhari to have completed 8 years uninterrupted, and it is now the turn of the South Nigeria to complete their 8 years uninterrupted. If the coalition fails to meet that, people, when you argue that it is not in our constitution, it is not in our constitution that if you are bringing a president from the South, most of the time is a Christian. If you are bringing a candidate, whether it's vice president or president himself, candidate, is a Muslim. So these are not part of our written agreement, even though the constitution accepts that what we have, that Nigeria shall not have a state religion, but yet we still give that preference to religious preference to, in selecting our candidate. We have not been able to involve the Babalawos and the Orishas and the people, in my place. So we need to be able to look at what is there that will make it more suitable. Do we have a candidate with national appeal? Do we have a candidate with Southern solidarity? Do we have a candidate that his policy resonates with the young people and the old people? Let's look towards that focus so that we do not implode the primaries of a political of the ADC when the primaries time come. Because there are a lot of ways to choose candidates. You can do direct primary, you can do indirect primary, you can do consensus at the venue. But I think this one would be elite-based consensus. They should sit down like adults in the room and accept that we must do what is right. Let the North, where the challenge would have been, is that they have front runners like Peter Obi and other Southerners from the South who have now accepted that to keep this democracy and to keep our fragile unity in place, it is very important that we agree that we are going to do one thing. And since they have agreed, that obstacle that would have militated against the zoning of the candidacy to South has been removed from the block. That roadblock is off. Even Atiku Abubakar can be referenced to say in 2023 that if the election, the party PDP had zoned their presidential ticket to the South, he wouldn't have contested. That it was the failure of the PDP to zone their presidential ticket to the Southeast that made him to contest.
Okay,
So
okay. Can I quickly ask you? I mean, with big names like Peter Obi, Rotimi Amaechi, Atiku Abubakar potentially throwing their hats into the ring for 2027, how exactly do you see the ADC coalition holding up to internal competition like that one?
Like I've said, I think the ADC coalition can succeed if people put aside their personal interests and look at the real issues, the importance of what we are confronting. The presidency is in the south right now. You cannot take it back immediately to the north. What happened with Jonathan in 2011 was because the northerners felt that the Yar'Adua tenure was not completed, and that struggle led up to 2014, 2015, brought the Southern solidarity to support the North, to say, yes, they need to complete that tenure. That's why Jonathan had so much obstacle to cross in the North. So that we should not do the same thing in this case, in this scenario. And for Amaechi, there's no problem. Amaechi is from the South. Peter Obi is from the South. If it's zone, let all of them go and conduct the primaries. And I think for my advice, I think it gets to a stage where people should somebody that is so respected that we highly value his opinion. Yes, we cannot do with that. Atiku Abubakar has contributed his own quota, has contributed politically and otherwise to the development of this country or to the participation or to political participation issues. What we know at this point in time is that if you look at the case of Senegal, the most popular and the most acceptable and the leader, because he felt there was no this thing on his side and there were obstacles standing against him, he selected a younger person who eventually became the president. This time is for leaders at that level to be able to mobilize around the Santa candidate and work for the interest of this country, so that this unity that we are trying to form, we have it on a solid foundation, so that there's no kind of bricks and people say, oh, there's this attempt to make sure that the North does not have it yet. There's this attempt to make sure that certain region of this country does not govern this country in peace. So we must be able to give and take. And people, look, if I don't become president today, my children will be. It depends on what I do, in trying to lay proper foundation to create that environment that will make sure that people remember in time to come how sacrifices were made for us to integrate, carry out regional integration within the cycle of our political discussion. So the challenge now is how we can do the proper thing, how we can know that if we are doing a delegate congress, is the delegate congress going to be transparent? Is it not going to be driven by money bag arrangement where people pay thousands of dollars to buy delegates? If we are doing direct delegate, are we going to make it transparent and create a guideline that will allow members of the party to vote freely without any sense of intimidation or any sense of harassment? So we need to also put it before INEC, because INEC is a regulator and register of political parties, and they are also to follow that process. So not to create an I believe my best prescription for the solution of this problem is for us to have a pre-source building process, so that we can actively on a table before going into the primaries and say, based on our agreement A, B, and C, this is what will happen. So
okay, Chief Peter.
In order to be able to salvage our political...
All right, Chief Peter, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your input on this conversation. And again, 2027 is just around the corner. We're going to see how they can salvage the situation. Whether or not they have enough fighting power, we'll definitely find out. Thank you once again for joining us.